Ignacio Agramonte was born in the Cuban province of Camagüey. Agramonte is one of the more prominent figures in Cuban history, known for his steadfast military leadership, his courageous politics, and fearless fighting tactics. Ignacio Agramonte was a lawyer by trade. After taking Latin and humanities courses in Spain, he returned to Cuba and finished law school at the University of Havana. At the age of 24, he began his law practice and became linked to the conspiracies against the colonial regime in his native province of Camagüey. There, he joined the armed struggle on the 10th of October, 1868. This uprising was one of the many catalysts for the War of Independence from Spain, which broke out on November 4th, 1868. While deciding how to go about this war, Agramonte confidently stood amongst the Cuban elite and declared, "Stop at once all the lobbying, the awkward delays, and the humiliating demands. Cuba's only position is to gain its redemption by tearing itself from Spain through armed force." He kept true to his word as he very quickly moved up the military ranks to become the Major General of the Cuban Armed Forces. Enrique Collazo, Colonel of the Liberation Army, described Agramonte in the following words: "The work he had to undertake was immense, and only a man with very special conditions would be able to do it. Fortunately, it was Agramonte. He began this transformation by transforming himself. The violent and passionate youth was replaced by a strict, fair, careful general, deeply in love with his wife, who taught morals through words and deeds, becoming a teacher and model of all of his subordinates, beginning to form in the midst of misfortune and danger the foundation of a disciplined and enthusiastic army." Furthermore, before his military success, Ignacio Agramonte accomplished many other great things that include, but are not limited to, being elected Secretary to the Provincial Government of Cuba, was one of the signatories of the act that freed the slaves, and was the driving force in the drafting of the first constitution in Cuban history. Ignacio Agramonte also mastered the art of what became known as la carga del machete. A daring but simple fighting technique, la carga required one to be on horseback, and to minimize oneself so that the Spaniards could not easily get a good shot. As one approaches the enemy, you are to come out of your ducked position behind the horse and hack away with your machete. Ignacio Agramonte died in the Battle of Jimaguayu on May 11, 1873. His body was cremated by the Spanish for fear that the Cubans would attempt to recover it. The Cubans eventually won the war and were free from Spanish rule. Ignacio Agramonte's most outstanding feat was the rescue of Brigadier Julio Sanguili. This brilliant action is an example of Ignacio Agramonte's organizational ability, intelligence, and courage. With a small group of Cuban men, he was able to take the prisoner Julio Sanguili away from the Spanish armed forces, which were superior in number to the Cubans. Ignacio Agramonte is a very important character in Cuban history, and I am proud to bear his name and be his descendant.